Konnichiwa, Redbirds. For those of you who don't know, I am back in the United States at my apartment, just trying to get settled in. But before I go back to my regular life, I'd like to share some more things with you about my trip. So today, I wanted to talk to you guys about Homestay and some of the benefits and perks, I guess, of staying in a homestay rather than just staying in a dorm. So before I go too in depth, I want to let you know kind of how my first reactions were and then kind of how things have changed. So when I was told that for this trip we were staying homestay, and they told us that they don't guarantee that you get placed with a family who speaks any English, even if you don't speak Japanese, that was terrifying. I was just shocked. Speechless, just like I am now. I didn't know how to react. I was terrified that that was going to be me, and I was going to be stuck in a house for 4 weeks with people who couldn't understand me, and I thought it was going to be a disaster. Well, I got my homestay placement and I stayed with 2 lucky families, like I have already explained to you guys. And I'm not gonna lie, we got to the airport and I was almost in tears. They were an amazing family. My first and second host families are both amazing families, but I was almost in tears at the airport. I didn't know what to expect. I saw them waiting for me and they were holding a sign. They are honestly some of the sweetest people I have met, but I was terrified. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't have a lot of contact with any of them before I left. It was pretty much get off the plane and they take you home right away and that's it. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was terrifying. I would have rather, in the beginning, I would have rather stayed in a dorm or known that I was gonna stay in an apartment just to find my own way so I had some time to myself and I didn't have to worry about that extra element. But I couldn't have been more wrong, and let me tell you why. Okay. First and foremost, some of the benefits of homestay. One I've talked about already, and that is food. At a homestay, your breakfast and your dinner was prepared for you, so we didn't have to worry about getting our own breakfast or dinner. The only meal we had to worry about was lunch, and it was amazing. My host moms, both of them, were phenomenal cooks. I got to eat so much food that I don't think I even would have tried had I not had it made for me and been given to me. So it's all homemade. It's a little taste into what their life is like. I know my second family, I have mentioned already that my host mom is from Taiwan, and so she cooked a lot of Taiwanese food or Taiwanese influenced food, and it was fantastic. I got to look at a totally different culture that I never expected through the food, and it was great. Another thing that I wanted to say as a benefit is you get a little bit more into the culture. So you don't only learn from your friends at school and the people that you may meet outside of the house, but you also get to learn about the culture in the home. I have a couple videos I want to share with you guys that show what the cultural things that I learned were. A lot of it is stuff that you would never expect, and you see the similarities and differences between our cultures almost immediately. It's really interesting to see what it's like to live in a house with other people. So I didn't have any sense of the American life at home while I was abroad because I was living with Japanese and Taiwanese people. So these people gave me a full experience of what it's like to be immersed in culture, and I think that's a definite benefit. So this one sounds kind of cheesy, but I mean it with all my heart. You become part of the family. And that sounds crazy because you're only there for, my first family I was only there for a week. My second family I was with for 3 weeks. But there is a definite sense of family when you're there. My families took me in with open arms and treated me like I was one of them. And I cannot thank them enough because as cheesy as it sounds, I now have 2 families halfway across the world that care for me, and I care for them in a way that I never ever expected. I expected it to be more of a, here you go, here's your new host, here's some food, we're gonna live with you for a couple weeks. But you become so immersed in their life and a part of their life that they become a part of yours. So we did a couple cool things, and there's a bunch of little events that I want to share with you, and the little moments that really do make the trip memorable. I know there's so many things I did with my friends at the university and the other Americans that were absolutely wonderful. But we also had a lot of little moments with my host families that I think also had a huge impact on my trip. And I know I've said it 100 times, but I cannot thank them enough. They have been absolutely phenomenal. So now instead of talking on and on and on, I'd love to share some of those little moments that made my trip with you guys. Some videos and some clips and some memories that I had because I had a host family instead of staying in a dorm or apartment. So, alright, so this is my host family, the Kobayashi family. There is my host dad, myself, one of my host sisters, Akari, and my host mom. This was at our welcome party. I had already been living for them a couple days by this point. And then my second host family, the Takai family. I have Yohei and Doreen, my host dad and mom, their little daughter Chiwa, and myself. Again, this was the first time that I had ever met them at the welcome party. And they were my second family. So this is my first day in Japan with my first host family's other sister, Mizuki. We went into an elementary school sports festival and spent the entire day together learning. She is a college student in Sapporo. And then this is us right before she left. This was unfortunately the only day that I was able to see her, but it was also my first day in Japan, and that just set everything off on the right foot to get going. This is my first host mom at work. She worked at a bakery, so we always had fantastic food to take home, and I think we had 3 or 4 things that we had just that day. So back to the food. You guys have seen this picture already. This is okonomiyaki that we made at the house, and this is the 3 of us making it at the table, and again, just another great memory. Alright, I lied. I told you I wasn't going to butt in and talk, but these next clips need a little bit of an introduction. So these are some clips of videos I took when we were at the house, and the first one comes with a story. I heard a tune on TV, and I immediately recognized it, and I'd only been in Japan for a couple days, and so I don't know why I recognized it, but I kept thinking it in my head, and so I started singing it out loud, and my host sister started singing it with me. Well, we figured out what the tune was, and it goes along with a hand game. The lyrics in Japanese do not match the lyrics in English, and they don't have the same meaning, but you can see why the tune I found interesting. Followed by the second clip is my host sister and my host mom again playing a children's game of something they would do when they were little. At this point, I had already taught my host sister how to do cups because she taught me how to do the hand game in the first video. So I just thought I'd give that a little bit of a preface so you knew what was going on.
Nervous.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
せーの。うるさい。せーの。アルプス1万弱。こうだよ。そう。アルプス1万、何さっきで言った1万弱でしょ。オッケーオッケーオッケーオッケー。せーの。アルプス1万弱。お槍の上。アルペン踊りをさあ踊りましょう。ランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランランラン ラララヘイあんた方どこさひごさひごどこさ熊本さ熊本どこさ千葉さ千葉山には団地がおってさそれをよしがてこれ打ってさ煮てさ焼いてさ食ってさそれをこの春ちょいとさくせはい
I'm gonna cut in one more time. So, shortly after this, I switched host families, and they told me that they don't really watch TV at night, which was going to be a big change, not necessarily from what I'm used to in America, but from my first host family, where we had the TV on frequently, and we would talk over the TV or around the TV and listen to a bunch of the different shows. So I was learning and listening as I was enjoying time with my family. And the first night, I figured out why we didn't watch TV. And so here's a clip of what I had the first night, and it really explains everything so well.
なんかさ、見てるよ。
I think I forgot to mention that my second host family had a dog. Her name is Coco, and she is a corgi, and she was so much fun to play with. And so here's a picture of me kind of while playing with her. Another really cool thing with my second host family is that both My host dad's mom and his sister live nearby, so I got to spend some time with them. This is my host grandma tying a bow on my kimono so that I was able to wear it to the festival. She was so kind to let me wear the kimono to the festival. She went and got it from her house and put me in it, and oh my goodness, that was so much work. But this is a picture of Akari, my first host sister, at the festival with me eating chocolate-covered bananas on a stick. So even though I wasn't staying with the Kobayashi family, I was still able to spend time with that family after I had already moved. This is my host mom after she took me to the onsen. It's like a spa, public bathing and spa. It was amazing and super relaxing. So the same day that we went to the onsen, we went out to eat with Yohei's sister, Yohei's mom, myself, Doreen, and the rest of the family. And then after dinner, my host grandma wanted to take me to a bar. So this is us at the bar that my host grandma took us to. Followed by some karaoke at that bar. This was the first time that I had ever sang karaoke. And this is my host mom singing a Chinese song, which is crazy to watch if you know any kanji at all. This is Chiwa. Chiwa and I played at the park one of the days, and this was one of the many times we rode on the swings. We also did the teeter-totter and the slide, but she was so cute and she loved being outside. So on one of the weekends I had off, we took a family trip out to BA, which is a town nearby, and we went to the Blue Lake. This is Chiwa and I attempting to take a picture with the Blue Lake in the background. We also went to a lavender field and got lavender flavored ice cream and climbed a mountain. This is all of us attempting to take a selfie at the Blue Lake, and to be honest, this sums up that trip perfectly. It was an amazing memory, and I am so glad that we could do this, especially with them as my family. So this next clip is also in BA, and Coco and my host mom were running around in one of the open fields, and I thought this would be a great time to get a video of Coco running around because Coco's actually really fast. And so I got my camera out, got ready, and this is the video clip that So here they are again. This is the Kobayashi family wishing me farewell at the airport on my flight back to Tokyo, and followed by the Takai family also wishing me goodbye. This is the last time that I actually really saw them because obviously we got back on a plane. And I know I've said it a million times, but I'm going to say it again because I am so thankful to have them as my family. They were absolutely wonderful, and I cannot describe how thankful I am that they were part of my trip. Alright guys, so these are some of the little memories that I had while I was on my trip. There are hundreds more, and I don't have time to share them all with you in this short little video. But I am so very thankful to have stayed in a homestay, and I think that that's something that a lot of people should consider. I know I told you from the beginning, I was terrified. You can ask my parents, you can ask my friends. When they told me that, I was terrified, and I couldn't have been more wrong. These families were amazing, and I plan on keeping in contact with them and hopefully staying close with them throughout the next 30, 40, 50 years. They were phenomenal, and homestay is definitely something you should consider if you get the option, no matter how much it scares you before you leave. That is all I have for now, and I hope to talk to you guys again soon. If not, have a wonderful rest of your time, and I really hope you consider staying in a homestay when you consider going.